Welcome. This is the Model Viewer, Generate a PDM and Create a Compliant Geodatabase webinar, a resource for SDSFIE training. This training resource is designed for all users who need to generate a physical data model in the Esri Geodatabase format. There are 3 recommended prerequisites for this webinar: watching the Understanding the Vector Standard video, the SDSFIE Portal and Tool Overview video, and the SDSFIE Portal and Tools Model Viewer video. The 3 background training resources listed here are optional, but they may add to your overall understanding of SDSFIE. All of these videos are accessible from the support section of the SDSFIE portal at the URL shown. The overall goal for our training resources is that all SDSFIE users understand the purpose, structure, and parts of the SDSFIE family of standards, or standards framework, and how to implement those standards. The specific objectives for this presentation are that the audience gains an understanding of the following: how to use Model Viewer to generate a physical data model, or PDM, in the PDM spec file format, and how to use the custom Generate GDB from PDM tool to import a PDM spec file in ArcGIS Pro or ArcMap to create an SDSFIE compliant geodatabase. I will now demonstrate the Generate PDM functionality of the Model Viewer tool. The example that I will use for the PDM generation demo is all of the cemetery entities plus the burial site entity from the Army Headquarters model. In this demo, I will first use Model Viewer, then a File Manager window on my computer, and finally, the ArcGIS Pro software. At the top of the SDSFIE portal's homepage, logged-in SDSFIE portal users are presented with a set of cards that link directly to the tools, including Model Viewer. Clicking on its card opens the Model Viewer tool in a new tab. Model Viewer starts with the Model Selection panel open in the sidebar, where we select the model and a set of entities to generate. Generate is the other panel that we will use today, and it opens by clicking its tab. Note that both Generate buttons are inactive. These buttons are activated when a model and one or more entities within it are selected. So, we will go back to the Model Selection panel and select Army as the component, and the Army Headquarters adaptation as the data model. We can now see all of the entities in the Army model in the tree view. Rather than looking through all 282 entities, to select the set of cemetery and burial site entities, I will collapse the tree at the model level, expand at the model level, expand the Cemetery Operations functional dataset, select all Cemetery Operations entities, scroll down to, and then expand the Cultural Resources functional dataset, and finally, select the burial site entity. Now that our 7 entities to be generated are selected, we can return to the Generate panel, where the 2 Generate buttons are now active. Pressing the Generate Physical Model button extracts the selected elements from the Army model and creates a zip file that is downloaded to my computer. We will also need the PDM to GDB tool in the custom ArcGIS toolboxes, so while I'm on this page, and because this is our last interaction with the SDSFIE portal, I will go ahead and download them now. If I go to my Downloads folder and find the physical model.zip file, and extract that file to a new physical model folder on my desktop, then I see that the zip file contained 2 files, a physical model.json file, and a readme.txt file, which every savvy user would open first. We have already accomplished the first of the 5 steps in the README. The second step takes place in the ArcGIS software and references the toolboxes that I just downloaded. After extracting them from the SDSFIE ArcGIS tools.zip file in my Downloads folder into a new SDSFIE ArcGIS Tools folder on my desktop, I can see that there are toolboxes provided for both ArcMap and for ArcGIS Pro users. For this demonstration, and for the remaining 4 steps of the process, I will use ArcGIS Pro. Step 2 connects Pro to the folders that I just created. I can just make a single connection to my desktop because it contains both the physical model folder and the tools folder. For steps 3 and 4, using a catalog view or pane in Pro, I can now navigate to the SDSFIE ArcGIS Tools folder on my desktop and locate the Generate GDB from PDM tool. From the catalog view at the center, I will drill down into Folders, then Desktop, then the SDSFIE ArcGIS Tools folder, and finally into the toolbox for Pro. Now I can start the Generate GDB from PDM tool. The tool interface appears in the Geoprocessing pane on the right. Like other tools, the help information for the tool is available from the blue question mark icon. Starting with the assignment of the project workspace, I will navigate to my desktop and specify a new file geodatabase named Cemetery and Burial Site. Next, I will specify the location of the physicalmodel.json PDM spec file that I downloaded. As evident in the tool interface, there are many options for how the geodatabase and the feature classes are configured. For this demonstration, I will run the tool with the default settings. When the tool finishes, we can quickly confirm that the contents of the new geodatabase were made as expected. Navigating back to the desktop level in the catalog view and refreshing the contents, we can see the new Cemetery and Burial Site GDB. Drilling in, we can see the 7 feature classes that we selected. Moving down further into Cemetery Headstone, we can see the feature type's definition property, the upright stone marker placed at the head of the deceased, presented in the description section of the SDSFIE-M metadata. Under the Table tab, we can see the empty table and fields that have been built for compliance to the Army Headquarters standard. This concludes our demonstration of generating a PDM and creating a compliant geodatabase using the SDSFIE Portal's Model Viewer tool and Esri ArcGIS software and tools. This concludes the Model Viewer, Generate a PDM and Create a Compliant Geodatabase training. If you want to learn about SDSFIE at a high level, SDSFIE governance and use, more on the Model Viewer tool, or other detailed SDSFIE topics, visit our training resources page at the URL listed here. Thank you for your interest in SDSFIE.